All right, welcome to day 5 of your one-room makeover challenge. I am so excited that this is our last day. This is all about getting into action and let me put it this way. We've been spending the last 5 days getting ready to be ready to be ready. And now you are ready. You have all your plans, you have everything in order, you've picked your colors, you've picked your color scheme, you've picked your accents. Now it's time for the rubber to meet the road. And this is the scariest part. If you're like me, it's not scary at all, but some people are like petrified to even buy a can of paint. So I am going to walk you through all of the basics of how to get started. Because once you rip the Band-Aid off and you get the paint on the walls and you look and you go, yeah, I did that. And then you think to yourself, no, but I did that. I did that by myself. I figured it out. That's how I felt when I ran the table saw for the first time, when I used the chop saw for the first time. Basically, every time I was in the barn and I used a saw, something with a blade, I was like, I did that. I did that. I don't have to beg my husband to do all of these things for me anymore. I can just do it for myself because I want to do it. So my little Yogi T dropped us a little love nugget tonight. Lift people up to their potential and higher self. I was like, oh my goodness. Tonight is all about reminding you that even if it feels hard, still try. If it feels scary, still try. Because the end result of making your home the way you want it to really, really be, in terms of reflecting your inside beauty, it's like, I created that. There's something in that feels so magnetic, and you walk into your bedroom and I feel like the sexiest woman on earth right now, because it's everything I've desired, it's everything that's been in my head, and I did it. And when I say I did it, or that you did it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you had to gung-ho and do it and push forward and do it all yourself. What that means is you sorted out the plan and you got into action, whether or not you hired somebody to come in and do something, or you conquered a power tool, or you bought that can of paint that felt really scary and that color that you weren't sure about, and then you put it up on the wall and you're like, wow, I love it. Or you buy the can of paint, you put it up on the wall and you go, I don't like it like I thought I was going to. Okay, now what? You go get the paint you love. You change the color. And there's a quote that came through that I downloaded a couple of months ago. I was walking with my dog in the woods. And personally, I hate hiking in our woods because it's all uphill. Because we live nestled into a mountain. And so anywhere in the woods I walk, it's uphill. And so I avoid it. And she says, come on, Mom, we're going for a walk. And I'm like, okay, fine. So on the way down, it flowed through me. And I just started singing it to myself. It's never convenient, but it's always worthwhile. So the action part of DIY is always the part that we avoid. We dream up all these dreams, we make all the Pinterest boards, and we watch all these Instagram DIY stories. But we always tell ourselves it's never convenient to move all that furniture out of the way and paint. It's never convenient to swap out that piece of furniture for something that might fit a little better. It's never convenient. It's never convenient. It's point blank. Any DIY project in my house I have ever done has never been convenient. Whether or not I waited for the right timing or I just started, it's never been convenient because you're always changing something when you're DIYing your house. But the end result is always worthwhile. And when you are in action doing the work, you're always going to hit the messy middle. You're going to hit the part of the project where you're like, what the heck was I thinking? Why did I start this? I'm never going to finish. There's no end in sight. That's the part where you got to keep going, because once you get over that hump, it's always worthwhile. So, what are your action steps to take action? So if you haven't already done so, many of you are at different points in your transformation. Step number 1, buy the paint. Buy the paint. Buy the paint. So when you paint, if you've never painted before, or if you're afraid to start or whatever, rules for the road. Repeat after me. Always 2 coats. Always 2 coats. Minimum. Always 2 coats. Okay? And primer if you're doing floors or if it's a really ugly dark color on the walls. So if you're covering up a red wall or a navy blue wall or a black or something that's really dark, you're going to want to prime it first and then do 2 coats of paint. It's never convenient. It's always worthwhile. So I tried to cut corners on this last winter when we were painting my son's room. And my dad said, you're going to want to prime those walls, because his room was this color red. And I was like, no, we're covering it up with navy blue. It'll be fine. And my mom, my little sidekick, no, it'll be fine. It's navy, like we're covering it with another dark paint. And he just goes, you're going to want to prime that. We're like, okay, fine. We didn't want to, because it means you're going to have to do 3 coats of paint, which means a couple of days for just the painting process, right? So if that overwhelms you, break it down and do 1 wall at a time. Just get 1 wall done, move the furniture off 1 wall. Generally, you can get the primer and the first coat of paint done in a day if you time it right. Then move the furniture, and then move the furniture off another wall. So there's ways that you can do it without disrupting the flow of your entire family. I know for me that's really important, because I can't just go into like my daughter's room and start painting her floor on a whim, right? Because it's going to affect bedtime and she's going to be like, what are you doing? And so those are the things where you have to sort of think, what's going to overwhelm me? What's going to overwhelm my family? And the third big tip to painting: don't buy cheap rollers and brushes. It looks like a good deal, and you tell yourself they're just rollers and I'm going to throw them out when I'm done. Don't buy the cheap rollers. Buy the good quality brand name, Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, whatever, rollers, because splatter happens. Splatter happens. I painted my stairway walls after I had done the black floor treads. I have to go back and redo all my floor treads because I used a cheap roller, and I have splatter everywhere. And it was all down my arms, and I was like, I bought the cheap stuff. That was a waste of money. So honor your money, honor your project, and invest in the tools. And if you buy good quality brushes and you keep them clean, they will last you a lifetime. They will last you a lifetime. And my most favorite trick to cleaning brushes is a lemon essential oil. I always use a citrus oil when I'm cleaning them out because it keeps the bristles really super duper soft. And it gets all that gunked up paint at the top. You know, when it gets like up at the top of the brush by the metal, it gets really stiff because all that paint dries up there. Takes it all out. It's the best Goo Gone you have ever used. Okay. So, number 2. You have your idea for your statement wall. Now you get to do your statement wall. So, this is where you sit down and you map out, okay, I know what I'm going to do. What supplies do I need? Do you need to buy painter's tape to make your designs like Ricky's wall? Do you need to buy wallpaper? And if so, how much? And when you're doing wallpaper, you measure from floor to ceiling. And then it always comes in, I don't know, is it like 36-inch wide? I don't know off the top of my head, width. So then you measure wide. I have to do that on paper. That's like sewing. I can't give you directions on that unless I actually have measurements. But so you measure the width of your wall. Yeah, 12 or 18 inches. Perfect. Measure the width of your wall, right? And so take whatever the width of the wall is, and then you divide it by 18, and you know how many strips. Boom. And then you would say you have an 8-foot wall, and you need 3 18-inch strips. 8 feet plus 8 feet plus 8 feet. Okay? Or are you going way outside your comfort zones and doing a wood/board and batten statement wall? I can't wait. I'm going to do one of these and I cannot wait. Cannot wait. So for that, you need to know, again, how much wood you need. And if you're going to do one of those, we won't get into it here. Go on Pinterest. There's tons of DIY tutorials. But the thing that's going to make or break that project is knowing how to buy wood. So when you go to your hardware store, you're going to go into the lumber section and you're going to look for 1x2s, 1x3s, 1x4s, whatever size you want for the wall. Generally, I would say stick to 1x2s or 1x4s, unless it's a really big wall. You want to look for common board, which is just your regular pine. If you're staining it, you might want to go with something a little bit fancier. So you go with select pine, or you could go with oak, which is going to be more expensive. But if you're painting it, just go with common board, because you won't see the knots. You won't see all, like the grain and stuff won't matter. But what will matter is how straight the board is. So is it bowed, or is it warped, or is it twisted? That will really make it hard to get a nice flat look on the wall. And then, I didn't write this down, but it's coming through me, so I'm just going to share it. The key ingredient to making your statement wall look homemade versus well designed is going to be caulk. Because you're going to put it in the seams between the wall and the wood, and you're going to fill those little cracks. And then when you paint over it, it's going to look totally flush and amazing. 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 I was in our living room tonight, and I was sitting down and I looked at one of the trim boards, and you could see these little like inconsistent gaps and bubbles where the wood wasn't sitting flush. And I was like, oh, I know how to fix that. Caulk. Get my caulking gun. I'll fix that. And then you just paint over it. You smooth it out. You paint over it. Boom. Easy problem to solve. And the nice thing is that it's like $2.99 a tube. So it's so inexpensive, but it's one of those things that makes or breaks the project, that makes it a standout project or a mediocre homemade project. Okay? And number 3, your accent pieces. Here's the amazing thing. Our amazing consumer market, yes, countersinking the nails. Boom. Yep, and wood filler. Great point. So you countersink the nails, and if you're using a nail gun, ooh, mad props if you're using a nail gun, it will countersink the nails. So then you go back through with wood filler, and you fill the holes. Wood filler is paintable. And you're just going to sand it down once it dries, and then you paint it. And you'd never know that you use nails to hang the board. How cool is that? And I'll also add this in. I see a lot of times people using nails and glue to put up the wood, to hang the wood. And having deconstructed many of these walls in my lifetime with my father, having taken down many, many, many pieces of paneling, don't put nail glue on the wood. Unless it's permanent and you want it to stay forever, you don't need glue. You don't need it. Because if you want to change it, instead of just popping the wood off of the drywall or whatever backing, you're going to tear up the drywall. And so the cool thing about DIY is that you can make it as temporary or as permanent as you want, just based on the supplies that you use. So if you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to go put a board and batten wall up on that part of my room, and then say you're the type of person that in a year to 2 years, you're like, no, I want to change that. Don't use glue, because then you can just take those boards off, spackle the nail holes, which are only going to be 1/4 of an inch, and paint. And you've got your wall back. And now you've got a fresh canvas again. So don't be afraid. Oh my gosh. Do not be afraid to put holes in your walls. Don't be afraid to put holes in your walls. Because it's always, yeah. It's always repairable. Drywall is so repairable, okay? So accents. Our amazing market has figured out we want home decor accents without paying the Pier 1, Ethan Allen, designer brand name prices. Ralph Lauren, you name it, right? So, where do you get your accents, your rugs? Like Ricky said, she doesn't have rugs in her house. I like rugs, but I know that we live in a high traffic, very, very busy household, so I don't like to invest a lot of money in rugs. They're a real temporary thing. So where can you get rugs that aren't going to cost you $500? Amazon, Overstock.com, BoutiqueRugs.com, and Wayfair. Or Joss & Main. IKEA is great. Pier 1 is no more. Oh my gosh. I must live under a rock because we have one a couple of towns over. That shows you what COVID has done to me. I have not left my house clearly enough. And I liked Pier 1 too. I actually liked Pier 1. So the other thing is light fixtures you can get off Amazon. Wall sconces. Oh my gosh. You can get really, really nice wall sconces on Amazon for under $30, depending on what you're looking for and the application. I even found we have to get a specialty light for our master bedroom because it's old wiring and it's got the pull chain. We don't have a switch in that room. And I didn't want to go through the hassle of wiring a switch just because we'll do that down the road when we do the big renovations. But I ended up finding this beautiful semi-flush light with a pull chain, which normally you can't find really nicely styled light fixtures with a pull chain on Amazon. And I'm like over here sitting, I'm just waiting for all the stars to align so I can go buy it. Manifesting that. I can't wait. It's going to be so amazing. It's going to be such a statement piece in that room. So your accents you can find for great deals on Amazon, Overstock, boutiquerugs.com, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Never discount the clearance sections ever. Oh, what else? IKEA. IKEA is great. I actually have a little drawer set up in my office that I got from IKEA for like $40. And the handles on it were silver. And you know me, I didn't want silver. I wanted a gold tone. So I spray painted them, let them dry. And then when I put the whole thing together, I had gold handles instead of silver. So easy peasy. And they also have curtains that are like $40 a pair, and they're full length. So IKEA is great. Yeah, that is it. So I meant to start with this at the beginning, but I got so excited. My little tea bag inspired me. I'm going to read it again. Lift people up to their potential and higher self. So we're going to do a little mini meditation before we close out tonight. Because I want you all to remember that you are so capable of taking the ideas of what you want your room to look like and making them a reality. It's just a matter of leaning in to the uncomfortableness of it and remembering that on the other side of that uncomfortable feeling is a giant boost in your confidence. And not only is it a giant boost in your confidence, but it also will bring you deeper levels of inner peace and relaxation and just creating rooms that set your soul free. It's life-changing because you walk into a room and you're like, I can take a deep breath. I feel really, really good in this space. This space feels so relaxing to me. And one thing I've noticed on my own personal journey is that the more I update, even the most basic little teeny tiny updates that I thought were silly, brought me deep levels of peace, has repaired relationships with my mother, believe it or not. The queen of this is how you do it, and this is how you dust, and this is how you do all of these things. When I finally said, screw it, I'm doing it my own way, she was like, wow, you're doing a really great job. And I was like, my inner beauty is coming out to play. Thanks, Mom. The rising tide lifts all boats, right? And I've noticed it in so many different areas of just working on this house. We had to do a lot of mending around dinner time and what we were putting on the table. And I noticed that when I cooked scratch meals that I was really excited to cook, the kids ate everything on their plates without complaining. And when it was no, I don't like I don't want to cook dinner. I don't know what's going to be for dinner tonight. That whole conversation, everybody's cranky at the dinner table. And when I make an update to a room, I notice that same energy shift. So when we connect in with our authentic selves, with our true selves, and we let that creativity come out to play in our exterior spaces, it also resonates with our family on a deep level. Whether they realize it or not, it brings everybody a deeper sense of peace. So don't be afraid to change a paint color or rearrange a room simply because a family member might not like the change at first. So let's close our eyes. Feel your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in. And just feel your feet sink into the floor. Just as if you were sinking into mud. Let your hands fall to the sides. Any energy out past our left hand is the past. And any energy out past our right hand is the future. And everything in between is right now. We call on all those working for our highest and greatest good. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, your divine guidance. Just be with us here now. And with your eyes closed, envision the room that you're getting ready to update. Bring your finished version of that room into your mind. What colors on the wall? What texture do you feel under your feet? Is it a rug? Or is it a floor that is tile or wood? Are you wearing nice, warm, cozy slippers as you just feel that floor underneath you? And in this finished room, where are you sitting? Are you on your bed? Are you in a cozy chair where you like to do your writing and your journaling? What is the lighting like? Is it soft and amber, warm feeling? Or is it bright like the sun, inspiring you to create and energize you? What's the feeling that you get sitting in this space? Let that feeling fill you up. And as you're in this space, bring your awareness to your root chakra. Imagine the color red. Take a deep breath in. And let your root chakra open and expand. Bring your awareness now to your sacral chakra and imagine the color orange. And take a deep breath in and ask your chakra to open and expand. Now move up to your solar plexus. Imagine the color yellow. And as you breathe in, ask your solar plexus to open and expand. Move up to your heart. Imagine the color green. Breathe in and ask your heart chakra to open and expand. Now move up to your throat chakra. Imagine the color blue. And as you breathe in, ask it to open and expand. Move up to your third eye. Imagine that yummy indigo color. Breathe in and ask your third eye to open and expand. Now move up to your crown chakra. Imagine the color purple. Breathe in and ask your crown chakra to open and expand. We call our higher selves in. Just hit at the top of our crown chakra. And to just remind us now why we are worthy and capable of creating spaces in our homes that feel like sanctuaries for our soul. And just be with your higher self for a minute and let the downloads come through, whether you realize them in this moment or maybe they'll come to you later on. Thank your higher self for the divine messages. And we ask Archangel Metatron to lay the golden, delicious, divine breadcrumbs of action. Lead the way, show us what next right step, what next most aligned step is ready to be taken on your home makeover journey. Thank you, and so it is. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. That was so yummy. That was so good. Okay, you guys, friends. That was amazing. I would love to hear in the comments what your favorite bits of this 5-day challenge were. And while you're sharing, I'll share my exciting little nugget. I am so excited to share with you that I am stepping outside of my comfort zone and launching Home Refinery Master Bedroom Edition. 90 days to clear clutter and energize your master bedroom to transform it into a space that sets your soul on fire. So, if you want to know more about that, I love you, Ricky. Oh, colors and metals. You lit up with the metals, but colors. Janice, you guys both fire signs, and talking colors and metals was like so much fun. So you guys here live and replay viewers, if you would love to transform your master bedroom into an amazing sanctuary, that of course that sets your soul on fire, just shoot me a DM and I will get you all of the deets. This one always comes in at the end of something major like this. It's so funny. Can you say hi? Hi, you were sleeping up in bed, weren't you? Yeah, you felt the energy, huh? Yeah, you always do. Okay, can you say bye to our friend? She's a projector, by the way. She's a little projector. They're both projectors too. Do you know what that means? You have no idea. Okay. Bye, everyone.